Hi, my name is Mike Gauvin. It's November 14th, 2018. This is lesson assignment 8 for WFED 105. It's about doing a visual pre-op inspection on a man lift. Okay, class, so today we're going to perform a visual inspection on a piece of equipment. Now that we've talked about the do's and don'ts of work elevated platforms, we're going to do a walk around and a thorough inspection of this man lift. It's the responsibility of every operator to perform a visual and a physical test of every piece of equipment before you operate it or at the beginning of every shift. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in the operator's compartment and we're going to look for an inspection report form. Okay, so I've got one here. These come in different shapes. Sometimes you'll see them in a booklet. Sometimes you'll see them just on a clipboard. And you got to go through this inspection list so that you make sure you don't miss anything. They're all a little bit different. You know, some of them will be specific to a piece of equipment. Some of them are generic. So when you're going through it, if certain things don't apply, you just write NA. So I'm going to read quickly through these. I like to read them through before I do my walk around, kind of a refresher to see what's coming up. So this one here, for example, okay, we got tire, hubs, lugs, outriggers, stabilizers. Obviously on this piece of equipment, you know there's no outriggers, so you're just going to put NA on something like that. Steering rods, guardrail system, platform floor, clean, operator's attachment point, operator's manual, warning placards, overall condition of lift, fuel system types, propane tanks, if equipped, batteries or battery, hydraulic fluids, lower controls, key devices, pins, keepers, safety bars, underside of platform floor, which in this case will be NA, hydraulic hoses and attachments, electrical cables, limit switches, chassis, hydraulic ramps and connectors, in this case will be NA, extended platforms, in this case for this manual is going to be NA also, and upper controls, function checks, and so on. So first thing we're going to do is before you perform an inspection test, walk around your piece of equipment, right? So I'm going to do a quick walk around the equipment, and I'm going to look for obvious things like scratches, dents, if this thing was in a collision, if it hit anything. I'm going to look at the tires, if there's a flat tire. I'm going to look for leaks on the ground, something obvious. Now take this time at the same time to look around in your surroundings. If there's other traffic involved, other equipment moving around, am I doing this? Is it safe for me to do this? If I need to rope off an area to make sure that I'm safe while I'm doing my inspection, that it's safe to do so. You need to keep in mind that, safety is not just while you're operating the equipment, it's also before and after. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the operator's compartment, find this checklist, and also I'm going to look for the operator's manual. If there's anything you're not familiar with the piece of equipment, the operator's manual should be able to fill in those blanks for it. So I'm going to start over here. We're at the main controls. So I'm going to look if there's any damaged switches or anything like that. Make sure everything's functional, nothing's broken or anything. I'm going to open up this hood. I'm going to check my fuel levels. There's a gauge here. Look at the fuel levels. I'm going to look at my hydraulic levels over here. There's a gauge showing me that the hydraulics are topped off. While I've got this open, I'm going to look at the electrical here. I'm not going to play with anything. I'm just looking for if I see any damaged wires or smoke damage or anything like that that I can visually see. So everything looks good over here. This piece of equipment is equipped with propane also. So I'm going to have a look at my propane tank. How am I doing with propane? Well, once I've done this, I'm going to start inspecting my boom. So, inspecting the boom, I'm going to look at the stress points. Anywhere you have a pivot point, I'm going to look for cracks, damage, rust, and I'm going to walk my way through. So I'm looking at the cables, any electrical cables. If I see any wear and tear, and, rubber cable that rubbed on something and is used up, I'm going to look at the hydraulic hoses and pay attention to the connections. Make sure there's no leaks anywhere on these hoses. Also looking at our pivot points or bolts. Nothing looks loose. This one was marked. I can tell if the nut moved or not. I work my way down, right? Try and check all the bolts, all the cables. Just visually looking for any damage of any sort. I'm going to move to the end now. I'm going to have a look at the man basket, right? So the man basket, we're going to check the guardrails. Are they in good shape? Do you see any dents in them, dings, or excessive rust or anything like that? Very important to look at your tie-off points, if they're in decent shape, and that your basket is clean. We're also going to have a look at the controls, that everything is in good condition. All the buttons are there, nothing's damaged, broken. And we'll look at the labels too. All the labeling is very important, that all the instructions are there and all the safety features are there. So everything looks good over here. We're going to move on to the other side and we're going to continue the inspection. You want to follow me? Same thing on this side, right? I'm looking at the hydraulic hoses. I'm looking at all the pivot points, looking for cracks, wear, damage of any sort. It's a visual, right? Looking at these bolts. There's some wear pads in here at the end of the booms. It's a good idea to have a look at these wear pads. So when the boom comes out and in and out, that they're still there, that they're in good shape. You have a look at that. So while I'm walking through over here, we're going to have a look at the tires on this side and the wheels also. We're going to check the hubs, right? Make sure that all the bolts are there. And they look fine. Now I'm on the other side. I'm going to have a look at this other compartment. Open her up. This is where the motor is. So it's just an overall visual. You're going to look at electrical cable, hoses. We're looking for leaks, fan belts, if there's no wear and tear, your radiator that's not plugged up. Gonna have a look at the battery, make sure the terminals are clean, everything's tight. Right, covered, everything's in good shape. We're gonna take the time, we're gonna check the oil in the motor. So we'll pull out the dipstick, check the oil, make sure that the fluids are good. Cooling fluids, make sure that's full. If we need to add some, we'll add some. So it's all, like I say, a visual. You're not a mechanic. You're not expected to start repairing things. You're just visually looking at that the piece of equipment is in good shape. We're going to move around to this area here. I'm going to look at my steering rods, right? Because that was part on the list here, right? There was where was it? Yeah, that was on here. Yeah, steering rods, it's right on there. So we have a look at it. It's just a visual. Look at your hydraulic hoses here. Look at your steering rods. Make sure everything's okay. So once you've thoroughly walked around the piece of equipment, looked at all of this, right? You grab your worksheet, your inspection form, and you start going through the items again. And now you can mark them off. So the ones that you've done, you check off, and if you missed one, you can always go back and double check and verify to make sure everything's okay. And that's how I like to do it. So, I mean, a good visual inspection of a piece of equipment, that's going to be your first clue on if this machine was taken care of or if it was abused. You don't want to put yourself in a piece of equipment that was neglected, putting your life at risk or your safety at risk. So it's very important to do so. So now that we've done this visual inspection, in the next lesson we're going to do an actual test of the equipment. We'll be starting her up and we'll be extending the boom. That'll be in our next lesson. So for now, keep in mind that it's very, very important that you document everything on your inspection list. If you see damage, like scratches or dents that maybe are not detrimental to the equipment itself, you should really think about reporting it to your supervisor. That way you're kind of covering yourself. So you won't get the blame if it was done on the previous shift or whatever. So keep that in mind. It's important to document it all on this here. Don't be afraid to write on here and put all the info, as much info as you can. And that about wraps it up for the visual inspection. And next class, like I said, we're going to do a test on everything.